meeting. Yeah.
Then we do the.
And then,
invocation of the
yeah.
pledge.
Because I usually
Roll call.
open and then swear in the town officials, but we already did all that, so that's done. Everybody's already done, so.
We're live. We're live.
And this down here.
Is it good?
But this purple program,
Ready?
it's a big, that's down.
I can email it to myself. Yeah,
What is that called?
it's called Remarkable 2.
Everyone needs a remarkable.
It is pretty amazing. An electronic notepad.
Those are nice.
Oh, I want one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. You write on this too? You write on the agenda? I keep notes on the agenda and stuff I need to do, and then I just email it to myself.
Business. We really use it in my business. Does it have a whiteboard effect too?
No, that's not. That's the only downside. You only use it in, this kind of light. You can't use it at night without any light, but this looks good. I mean, you can do PDFs, you can do handwritten notes, you can put books on here.
So you could do like a little illustration if you wanted to, like,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
that's what I was thinking in terms of whiteboard, that kind of effect.
Oh, yeah, you can do that. I've got so that I can,
Clear it. There you go.
just regular, I can put all kinds of
Oh, I could
templates
use
on
one
it.
of those.
I can have graphs, I can have lines. I can do that.
All right, I'll call the meeting in order, 7:00. Steve, would you do this in prayer? And pledge allegiance?
You know, pledge allegiance.
Yep, please.
Let's do pledge allegiance first. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you that you will supersede our meeting. We pray, Lord, you guide us, help us to function together as a team. Pray, Lord, that what's accomplished tonight will benefit this community. Pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is I will open the floor for nominations for board president. Oh, sorry.
You know how many times you did that to me?
Roll call, Tom Roberts,
Here.
Brady Hurley. Here. Steve Rogan.
Here.
Adam Jones.
Here.
And William Walters.
Here.
Now, I will open the floor for board president nominations.
I nominate Adam Jones, the first president of the new term.
Adam Jones.
Who's second? Are you gonna second it, just take a nomination, then go to the vote? How you wanna do it? Is that how you do it?
Take nominations,
Close it and then go to the vote? Okay.
I'll nominate Tom.
board president.
I'm going to decline. It's time for me to not be. So,
Okay. Okay. Is there any other nominations for board president? And I close nominations. So nominations for Adam Jones, board president, we need a first and a second. That's it.
Oh, you
Just
go,
vote.
you
Oh,
go
let's go
roll
vote.
call, you go roll call. and
Roll call.
it's a yes or no.
Okay, so Adam Jones for president. Brady Hurley?
Yes.
Steve Rogan?
Yes.
Adam Jones?
abstain.
You can't abstain on that, you
I
know
want
that, right? Tom Roberts
Yes.
and William Walters.
Yes,
Somebody William or Bill.
it don't matter.
Okay.
You've been called words.
Hey, John, you're supposed to be quiet down there.
It's on your golf cart.
We were all thinking it.
He's not here.
Okay,
Johnson
now-
here.
nominations for board vice president. I will now open the floor for nominations.
I nominate Bill Walters.
Any other nominations? Okay, close that. Okay, vote for Bill Walters to be board vice president. Randy Hurley,
Yes.
Steve Rogan,
Yes.
Adam Jones,
Yes.
Tom Roberts,
Yes.
and William Walters.
Yes.
I heard that.
Okay, we're gonna switch all around, is that or how you wanna do it, Mr. President?
I am perfectly fine sitting here.
Well, then you need, all that paperwork that's in front of Randy has to go to you.
And Randy, do we want,
Hang on,
Would
hang
you
on.
Want to switch, please?
Yeah, okay.
Sit where you want to sit, because I put your name tag down.
that way
This is cable works better this.
am I okay here?
Just
Here, take your name tag.
would love to.
You can go to the front room here.
Randy.
Give me Tom and John Brooks.
Don's got
Oh, there you go, that's true.
it. You're gonna be here?
Yes, that's okay. That's fine with me.
Sorry.
Well, that's Adam's, and that's yours.
Tom.
Oh, and here.
Why don't you, well, I need this.
Here, go ahead and use this.
Yeah.
I like this as well.
I've got one. I think these stay with the seat. The.
Yeah, all that stuff stays with the, everybody should have one of those in front of them.
I
They
took
should
mine
have,
with-
yeah, you've already given,
There you go.
he took, yeah, because he filled his
You
out.
have one?
Everybody should have one of these.
This is one I think for- I did not get.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
I already filled
It's
it.
got the agenda.
Mine doesn't have. I mean, this is somewhere down on your list of things to do, so
Right.
I just printed that out.
Amy, did you have this all stacked up in order, do you know?
It was pretty close.
Okay, well, I just, the papers on top didn't match the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was, no, probably not,
Alright.
especially if anybody looked good.
Well, while we're doing that, so we'll start off with the approval of the December council minutes. Did everybody get a copy of those? All right, is there any discussion on those minutes? Well, I know they received them.
They was, no, they,
Me and Brady just can't.
Can't
vote on it, we
Yeah.
weren't a part of
There.
it.
I was gonna ask that though, John, can they not vote on them or they just
They
can't
weren't at
motion?
the meeting.
We were-
I know they weren't at the meeting.
They may not have been in the meeting, but did you observe the meeting? Was it online?
I was on.
She was,
I,
she was at the
I
meeting.
did not.
She can vote on them because she observed the meeting. If they're accurate, then she can vote on
That's
them.
what I thought, that's what I thought.
Okay,
I was not, I was in a meeting, so no, I cannot.
okay. So we'll open it up for motion to approve the minutes.
Make a motion that we approve the December 2023 minutes.
Can I get a second?
I second.
All in favor of approving the December minutes?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right.
You want to note your abstention, Bill?
Yeah, I abstained, sorry, yes.
Gotcha.
Going to financial reports, who gets to review the,
There's a ton of them here.
Yeah.
who's it?
Claimed, the bank rec needs,
That's the claim docket.
that's what he's telling me.
I'm trying to find out, it got twisted up here.
There should be one.
Keep on going.
Oh, Amy,
There.
this is a good point. Do we need to approve the special meeting?
Yes.
I'm gonna
It's
play a
in
game
there.
like you did.
Let's do
Hey,
that.
Steve.
Yep.
You'll go ahead and do it, yeah, because I have it
Now there's more.
already pulled up in my.
We need to take a step back from the financial reports real quick. And I need a motion to approve the special meeting on December 28th.
There was nobody.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. The special
I'll
session.
second it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Abstain.
Do you got-
Abstain.
Where's the minute?
Let's both of them.
Let's both of them together?
Yeah.
I didn't see that soon, okay. Financial reports. You got
What do you want to start with?
Uh,
You want to do the revenue?
yeah, let's do the revenue detail.
We don't do motions on those, we usually just pass them around
Is
to
it
sign.
considered
There's no motion.
Those don't get motions, claim docket gets a motion.
Which is.
So for Brandy, for your purposes, I think Steve has a receipt one,
Right.
and that's the one I think I talked about last month. The Board of Accounts requested that we start doing these as an interim control measure.
Right.
And all we do is kind of look at it to see if the receipts look appropriately posted, at the right time, and all that. So we are trying to do that this month. so-
Sure.
Everybody's got to sign
Sure.
it, just kind of pass it around.
And then Tom,
'Cause we didn't get November.
there's an amount, right, that has to be stated for
Not
that.
for the bank rec, that's the claim.
The claim
Claim
docket.
docket, yes.
Claim docket, we have to have a motion for.
Okay. Did you review this? Or not, did any?
No one has yet.
Yeah, it came across on an email. You should have had all chance. to-
Oh, yes, claim docket, yes, it was, the financials didn't get reviewed.
That's-
I usually don't send the bank rec till.
I'm sorry?
I don't usually send the bank rec before the meeting, but I can if you guys want me to.
Well, you're-
Probably wouldn't hurt.
Just to.
Probably wouldn't hurt to
date
do
on
that,
this.
Amy, just to get everything.
All right, the claim docket,
Approve that.
can you make a motion on the claim docket?
I can, can you too?
Yeah, well, you had it.
Oh, make a motion that we approve the claim docket, in the amount of $292,200.15, and that amount's right there.
You get a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
There were a couple things on there that I want to talk to you about later, just to know. There's some large odd amounts, and some of it is, January payments, right, Amy, for the insurance?
Mm,
Because there's large insurance payments. in this
Oh, yeah,
claim
yeah,
docket.
yeah.
So,
It came across Epic, we had the insurance bill is
It's always due
due
in
this month, it's
January.
always due in January, so that's on that claim docket. And, well, that's a big one, I'm not sure what else was on there.
You should vote on this, too. You just
Bank reconciliation, do we have to,
No,
No,
okay, just be something.
I just make note that it was reviewed.
So we're basically done with all this.
Hang on, the Delaware County Regional Wastewater?
We haven't done that, it's like out of the way.
Okay, you skipped over that, I'll make sure we're going there. That signature goes that way, you come back. Hang on just a second, I'm getting one, he gets that back, we need that, I need the claim docket too.
still on that board.
Huh?
Still on that board.
Yep.
Claim docket? Yeah.
Jason Richard? I'll let him do that, yeah. Superintendent.
I think that thing is just something.
I didn't get one.
He was on a mission trip, he didn't get back until the day after, he got back on Wednesday, so he's just got back this week, he was in, Keegan, 10 days on mission.
Sorry.
So anyway,
No one
the,
wanted to sign this one.
And you are
the
sorry.
Delaware County Regional Wastewater District monthly report, I'm gonna get this month.
Right, so let's keep that.
We'll catch up next month.
Just do that.
Claim docket now, that's two, I got one revenue report, where's the November? You got it, okay.
Just make sure there's, everybody sign.
Yep, that's what I'm making.
I don't want to run anybody down.
Brandon.
And then I've got the employee distribution, and what did you say on this one? It's just a review.
Just a review.
It's just a review and sign, it's not, you don't need a motion on this one.
Yeah, state order counts just requires that we put these in a book that shows that you guys looked at the money going out,
Payroll
being
and
paid
everything going out, and
to,
then-
being paid to employees, make sure nobody's being paid that's not supposed to
What
be.
we did not do, take notes of that, we did not assign supervisory roles or supervisory roles.
Right,
You can do that.
do that.
So for,
Do you have this out on piggyback?
not, we're just gonna do the basics.
Okay,
Some of them are here. some
all right,
of
give
them
me that back.
Yeah,
aren't. In fact, I think the front ones are. copies of-
we'll finish up with everybody's signatures on,
She did that.
Because you're gonna go into the department.
yeah, because before we get into
the other
department business.
business, okay.
So before we get into the departments, we're gonna do the board assignment.
Yeah, board assignments, departmental only board assignments.
Did you see anything on that? Probably? See what you-
Jesse,
Go through that. And,
You're the president, you board sign.
yeah, well, I'm just gonna wait till we're done and then we're all on the same page. All right, so with that being said, we need to take a step back and get,
need that.
just overall board assignments for supervisory roles taken care of. Does anyone have any preferences? My only preference is that streets and waters report to the same person. That way we don't have cross-management
Right.
to Brad and Dan. Would anyone like streets and water?
I'm comfortable with it.
I'd like to see Tom continue in that role.
You get that?
I second.
Okay. Do we need to vote on these?
No.
or we just-
No,
No, you're assigned
You're
them.
assigned.
You're
The
assigned.
president, the president, something.
You're just asking for advice.
I'm gonna go with the flow, and as long as people are happy with it, we'll go forward. Bill, please.
Oh, it's fine.
Steve, park liaison,
Yes.
and, what else?
Planning and zoning and sanitation. What, do we have a board? No,
No,
we don't have anybody over planning and zoning.
no.
We don't do
Nope.
that.
No,
Sorry.
We're
Okay, but
No, that's.
do you wanna do sanitation?
Oh,
I
Stan.
can, yep.
Primary on that. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it's basically just ensuring at this point that you set up the dates for the community cleanup days.
Okay.
And,
Twice a year.
Make sure the
bathrooms,
porta potties are.
yeah, bathrooms down
Amy
at
will help you with that. She's got everything, it's on
the
account.
Shell Barton Park.
She'll just tell you what, they'll deliver.
Sure.
And
And
then
then if she's going to the planning and zoning, she could give us a report on the P and Z, or you
Oh,
might.
yeah.
She was recommended by planning and zoning to take the open spot at Joe Scott, so then she could have planning and zoning and just report to us in the meeting and what goes on there.
Fine.
That work?
That works for me.
So the only other thing is every so often go out for bid
Yeah,
for the sanitation. Probably you'd be in charge of that.
That's fine.
It's not a big deal. It's all. I don't
it
think
usually
it's this
goes
year,
pretty
though.
smooth. The bird,
When's that due?
fortunately, there's. no-
I think it was only last year. or something.
You guys got a 3-year agreement?
I thought we had a 3-year agreement that
We did.
and it
We did.
increased like 50 cents a year.
Yeah.
I've been there for a while. so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you got like 2 years.
I do bids all the time with work, so I'm good.
They call us, yeah, it's pretty easy.
Okay.
ADA, anything on ADA title?
Well, we need reports from.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
So, with that being said, I know Joe's not here.
Amy, is there anything with sanitation?
Yeah.
You know,
Right now,
I don't think there is.
no, the porta potties got picked up and everything's going smooth. Now, we were, I did send all that out after the last meeting. I sent something out to you about, because recycling was addressed, and maybe having recycling more like Chesterfield, where they keep a recycling container out and they have it picked up, and I sent you guys the information, it was probably before Christmas, about how much it would be to have something like that here. We wanted to put it, so that's an option instead. That's,
Wait till next month.
Yeah. Could you resend that to my new address, because my old address is not screwed up. Sorry.
Okay. And then when do we normally get, like, who from and when do we normally get the toilets placed down at Shell Rock?
Best Way, but not the Best Way that does our trash, it's Best Way out of Anderson, I believe. They do porta pots, and usually April 1st, and then they pick them up November 1st.
Okay. Let's get it.
And usually they're pretty good about calling us, but it's probably good to remember. I have, or if you just remind me, okay, or however you want to do it. I don't care. It's an invitation.
Okay. Streets and water?
Bradley, Anything going on? I mean, they were working this weekend with the snow.
Everything's fine, we're all ready to go for the next one, so we're good.
Anything on the water?
By the way, you guys did a good job of getting at the streets. They're clean really quick. Good work.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah, that's it.
Kristen, any updates on planning and zoning?
Well, we asked for Brandy to be the new board member added to the thing, and then you guys need to find 2 Democrats, and then my spot and Terry's spots.
And
And we're gonna wait on those until next
Yeah,
time. So
we're
we
waiting
have
on
to give
those.
everybody, because that's what we got the list, so we go through.
And there's still some outstanding property things that the police and
In what way?
Todd.
I've discussed the ones with possibly.
Do you have people in mind for that? Do you have people in mind for the, since the plan commission has to be politically balanced, you have what, 7 members? So you can have 4 of one party and 3 of the other party. Do you have some people in mind to put on there?
Well, right now, I'm sorry.
Well, I think that's one of our follow-up questions. This entire conversation is going to be, what if? What if we can't find a balanced board? Because we have been an unbalanced board for
A year.
At least.
at least. And we don't have people knocking on our door to sign up.
I understand that. Are there any pressing issues in planning and zoning right now that need to be addressed? Do you have any pending applications or anything that needs to be? Okay, well, that gives you some time to try and find some people. Start drafting.
We've been doors and almost literally trying to find people.
Say if we go until February's meeting and we can't fulfill those lists, do we have another option to go if we can't by the February? They've had trouble in the past year doing it, so if we can't fill it enough by February's meeting, can we have an alternative to fill those positions?
Yes, I'd have to look and see what the alternative, but it may be that you just stay politically unbalanced.
Okay, but I mean, I just make sure we follow IC code or whatever precedent's been set.
Is it kind of a due diligence kind of thing, as long as
You
we're.
gotta make a good
involved
effort,
in
you just
good
can't
effort.
say, hey, I can't find, there are no Democrats in this town, so
Right.
wink, wink, nod, nod, we're just gonna put a bunch of Republicans on there, so.
Right. Well, I mean, we
Yeah,
have however many years of meetings on live stream asking for people to be in those positions, so.
As long as you can support that and you continue to support that, you've made a good faith effort to try and find people.
Okay.
Good to know.
Police. Jason, do you want to cover that?
It wasn't.
Yeah, we've got 3 issues to cover. Adam and Bill, I think you guys know all 3 of them if you guys want
Do you want me to? or-
What's that? What do you had, what James said, please said in there, hang on, I was doing 2 things, I couldn't find out where that Homeland Security thing went to.
Intergovernmental agreement?
Do what?
The intergovernmental.
Yeah, we need the intergovernmental agreement with Fred and the 911 vehicle to be used in the town of Daleville when he's on call over here, and that was approved. Help me, Jason, if I'm gonna buy the donor of that was approved.
to. Yes.
So, and we need to come up with a memorandum of understanding between the town and them so that he can use that while he's on duty.
And Fred is here also if you guys have. any
Yeah, we got Keston Fred's there, but I mean, he'll use the vehicle, we'll pay for the gas.
What about insurance? Is it-
Yeah, what's the liability?
So I think what I discussed with the chief and the commissioner was, the county would continue to cover it insurance-wise. And if there was an unfortunate accident, they would probably ask the town to cover the deductible, because it would be obviously fully insured. There's no cost to the town other than that and gas. So I already have a fully outfitted vehicle, and it's a matter of allowing me to use it while I'm working out here.
So this will be a local agreement between the town of Daleville and Delaware County, which is the owner of your vehicle,
Yeah,
right?
correct. The commissioners will have to approve of it as well as us, a resolution. Yeah, that's all right with you.
We're
Just like
talking
have
about-
that drafted, brought to, we'll do that in February.
Not, it's a big win for the town.
Yeah.
So the commissioners, I think, John, are expecting that for Monday's meeting, so.
That's what, we're not gonna have it by Monday because their meeting's on Tuesday.
But basically, I have some lighting that I have to switch over to a different color, obviously. So before I do that, I just want your blessing if you're going to allow this to happen, because I don't want to have to switch it back. So as long as you guys are okay with that.
John, what would be the best way to do that resolution that we don't jeopardize Dib, but yet he has, if
Well,
he's in the safety, go ahead and do that.
The commissioners they can approve it on Monday. You guys won't be able to approve it till your next meeting in February. So
Okay, if they approve it.
if they approve it, you guys have, the consensus of the board is that you're going to approve it. So
Correct.
once the commissioners approve, which I don't think there's gonna be a problem, then you can go forward with that.
I basically just need your consensus so I get the stuff switched over and start the process, so.
I'm good with roll call. Department we got. I don't think-
Do we need to,
Make it
like,
official with a roll call like we.
No, there's no vote on it because it's just,
Not
there's nothing to vote on.
The resolution hasn't been appeared yet.
yeah, I think we're all good with it. Let's
Yeah.
just proceed.
Okay.
So before you move on,
Okay.
I just wanted, so is there no concern at all about any kind of liability issue? As in, let's say that Fred, God forbid, and did something negligent, and he has a wreck, and somebody gets hurt and all that, and I know the county would cover their side. What happens if they sue the town because he's on town business then? I mean, is there any liability issue at all that needs to be thought about?
Well, there's always potential liability issues. If, if the accident was, the vehicle was involved in the accident, then the county's insurance would cover that under the terms of their local agreement, as I understand it. And then the county's insurer would come in and pick up that defense, because that's what you guys agreed upon. And the county will get that signed off on by their insurance company. If Fred is involved in an altercation outside the vehicle, then that's the town of Delville's responsibility for if Fred steps outside the
Yeah, but
scope.
that's, we got.
I understand,
got
but
part.
I understand that, but when you are using the vehicle, then it's the vehicle that's gonna, the vehicle's insurance that covers that.
Yeah, okay.
But, I mean, either way, we're gonna get pulled in because
Yeah.
at that point,
Well, sure.
he's an agent of Delta.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Let's just hope I'm not aggravated, get into an accident. Don't put that on me.
Putting that right on you, really.
So you guys are good with it though, by consensus? Okay, I'll get that worked out.
Move on.
Yeah, well, we've got two other items.
John, do you want to speak to ordinance 2024-01?
I don't know which one that is.
Oh, I thought you drafted this. I thought
You
this-
did.
The new
I-
fraternization?
That's the one, okay.
I didn't- I'm
I
sorry,
numbered it
I-
01.
Okay.
Okay, so I thought I jumped way out of line there.
We got five. It's
He
02.
sends the ordinance.
Okay, John, we got a
Adam
problem.
sent it to me, I have to number it,
It's
so he
02.
wouldn't have known the number.
Oh, okay.
It's 02.
Here's our one, is the town board payment in lieu of taxes.
No, that's a resolution and that's an ordinance.
Resolution and that's an ordinance.
I stand corrected.
Hey, son, it was right in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are, so, but,
I know, that's usually, I have to send it back.
yeah.
Go ahead, John.
So this is this would be an amendment, an ordinance amendment, because you adopted your town personnel policies by an ordinance. This would be an ordinance amendment to town personnel policies about the possibility of amend the personnel manual from time to time to maintain a proper environment for the workplace. This covers dating in the workplace by anybody. The employee, before they start into a relationship, should consider the possible conflicts of interest in that. If they're going to get involved in it, then they need to report that to their department supervisor. In case of a supervisor, their respective town council member. Keep it all professional, all work-related, no employees behaving inappropriately. And I've got 6 examples of inappropriate behavior. If they participate or exhibit unacceptable behavior, then they're part of the progressive discipline that you guys have, which could be up to and including termination for repeated offenses. Their employees would behave appropriately towards their colleagues who date each other, no hostility or discriminatory behavior, and supervisors cannot be involved with an employee to which reports to them, because that's just a haven for sexual harassment and discrimination claims.
Mhm.
So it's a pretty basic policy. I mean, people are gonna date in the workplace no matter what. I mean, that's just the reality of life. And so you gotta kind of control it as much as you can.
Basically, what we're asking is for proper conduct while they're employed.
Exactly. So you identified it as the issue, set up some basic guidelines. So that everybody knows what the rules of the game are.
The only thing, I started thinking about this, John, the only thing I didn't see there was, we really can't have employees who are in a relationship working, especially within the same department, working the same shift.
Okay, I mean, yeah, there are all sorts of nuances of this thing that you can add to it. I mean, this is just an introduction. So if you want to make that, then I can amend that to add that particular provision as well.
I think that's-
We'll go ahead and read it in and then amend
Mhm.
it. Then I would ask to introduce ordinance 2024-01.
Can I get a second?
I'd second it.
Everybody in favor of introducing this ordinance? All in
Yes.
favor?
Say aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
And make a motion to suspend the rules.
No, you can't do that, because I need to add that provision that
Mhm.
Adam,
She amended after. we-
I would ask you to take a look at it, and make sure that there's anything else that you want to add to it, so that you can have it by next meeting. And I could put that in there, but if there's something else that comes up, this is really the first discussion you guys have had on this.
Right.
If there's something else that you want to add to it, then we can do that.
Okay. So the only thing, could we even tonight offer request for additional?
Sure, if you want to tell me what you want to add, then, you guys can discuss that for adoption.
So, do you hear what John said?
Mostly.
I'm gonna explain it.
Yes.
Basically, if you want to introduce that as amendment to this, that piece is amendment to this, we don't do that tonight.
Yeah, just give me some ideas,
Mhm.
and then you guys can think about it, and then when we bring it up at the next meeting, you can vote on whether you like that idea or not. Well, I'll have several different versions of it, so.
Go ahead and discuss.
Yeah, I would prefer that we get this in place now and then make the amendment. I'd rather not wait.
That's up to the board. That's up to the board.
What would you rather do?
Yeah, I'd rather,
Seeing that, then I'll bring my motion to the table again. I make a motion, we suspend the rules.
for a second.
I second it.
Okay, now on a motion to suspend the rules, there are two requirements. One, the motion has to pass unanimously. And two, when you adopt the ordinance, then it has to be by a 2/3 majority. Okay, I just want to set the parameters.
Thanks.
Is there a roll call?
All right, look for,
This is on the motion to suspend.
okay, look, for a roll call vote, for the, suspending the rules to introduce,
Suspend the rules to
To
adopt.
approve,
to adopt, yeah, ordinance 2024-01.
Randy Hurley,
Yes.
Steve Rogan,
Yes.
Tom Roberts,
Yes.
William Walters,
Yes.
and Adam Jones.
Yes.
I make a motion to adopt 2024-01.
Second then.
Now we can just do it, we'll do a roll call vote on that.
Do a roll call
Do a
vote on
roll
that as
call.
well.
Yeah, it's gotta be 2/3.
Okay, Adam Jones, sorry, let me back up. Randy Hurley,
Yes.
Steve Rogan,
Yes.
Tom Roberts,
Yes.
William Walters,
Yes.
and Adam Jones.
Yes.
Then that, in that form, is adopted.
Mm-hmm.
And because it doesn't have any penalties, it becomes effective upon adoption. You don't have to publish that one. Okay? And then if you want me to make amendments, just let me know and I'll prepare amendments.
And then they can just approve an amended ordinance.
Right.
So we go ahead and sign all this one?
Yes.
And the only amendment so far is, employees in the same department can't work the same shift.
Correct. All right, we need to get this signed off. While we're signing off on this, I have one more thing, and that is holiday pay. Payout versus comp time, the essential employees. I believe this has been a topic with you guys that brought up to me on the deal that the essential employees are paid overtime because they have to be called in instead of being given comp time and a bunch of time off. So I don't know where you guys were at on that as far as the conversation. I've heard from your department or the police, but if you want to fill in, if you guys got any other comments on that, what you've been dealing with before me and Brandy got here?
Yeah, so I know that we had talked about this, Tom, back in late summer.
Right.
Are there any concerns that if we make this change that we will run into funding issues? Because we have done such an increase on everyone's hourly rates at this point.
Well, I think at the time, there was an estimate last fall that it's going to cost us, if everyone worked every holiday, and the highest paid person that was eligible for this was going to cost $13,000 a year. So, let's say it goes up to 20, you're talking different. It does take a bite out of the general fund, but that's most of the money's going to be spent out of, because we're talking mostly the police.
And that's worst case scenario.
Yeah. But I understand this, the scheduling issue. It's just a nightmare for James and Jason on this whole thing, because it ends up that they've got all kinds of comp time to take and not any employees to cover it. Yeah, right. So, I mean, we could always just, do it this year and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then if we have to cut it out, we can in the future. But, I mean, the general fund is always nip and tuck. I mean, it's tight all the time, so.
We did do something on that, we're not doing the salary ordinance anymore. Is it not in there for
It,
Straight plus
yeah,
comp time
we would have to.
Yeah, it's in the south.
that you just adopted.
John, are
There
there
would
any
have to be an
conflicts
amendment.
with other departments? So in this case, the police department, we're essentially doing away with comp time and paying,
On holidays only.
yes, on holidays only.
The police department is pretty much the only full-time department you have.
The street.
You got street water.
But they're not, but I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean full-time.
24/7.
24 hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
24 hour only.
24 hours.
Yeah, it's the only 24 hour.
24-hour department that you have, so, I mean, it's a special case. Police forces, EMTs, those sort of things, emergency dispatch is always a 24-hour operation. The rules are always different for us. Public safety has the ability to incur more comp time than a regular employee. They can get, 480 hours, I think it is, under the Fair Labor Standards Act, comp time, where other employees don't get that much. I think they get 80 hours. So, I mean, the rules are a little different for a 24-hour department, so you can't do that.
Okay. I'm good with it. So just,
I make a motion that we do what we talked about.
Take the comp time, take the comp time and go to the essential employees and pay instead of comp time. Make a motion to change comp time over
Now,
to,
Determination of, is the essential employees the police?
Yeah, just use the term police.
Yeah.
That's
Just use the term police, that's
police
police.
department.
okay, can I get a second?
I'll say.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Okay,
And it's
before we go
time
further,
and a half.
Time and a half.
please clarify that motion.
Police
The
only.
motion.
The motion was to approve holiday pay, right?
Police only and a time and a half only.
Okay.
Remove comp time. On holiday pay only. On
Holiday
holidays
pay.
only.
And Beneficence Week is not a holiday.
Yes, that, absolutely.
We've separated that.
Yes.
Okay, and there was one more police thing. correct?
Nope, that was all, wait a minute. That's all three things, like Jason, that's three things I got. You got anything back there?
Nope.
Nope, that's all I
Okay.
got.
All right.
Now, go ahead. I'm sorry, go. We're still in the department.
Parks. Yeah, but I promise everybody else that the second half of the meeting will go much faster. Parks Department?
Anything in particular you want to highlight?
Oh, we approved, April 8th is going to be a total eclipse. So we are going to have an event called the Total Eclipse of the Park. We're gonna start it at 12, run it till 5. We've got several things planned, people can pre-register, get eclipse glasses, a t-shirt, events. We're gonna set up tents in case, you never know what the weather's gonna be. But hopefully to make it a nice event. We will need volunteers because most people are still working at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So kids are off
What are you doing? I
school.
work.
Kids are off school. Kids are actually.
Easy, Dan. I know my wife's behind you, but I can work.
The kids are actually off, they have e-learning day, so they're done it in that day, so it will work out. We should have a good Friday. It's a Monday, actually. They just added the, e-learning day because of the eclipse, so.
And this is a very, unordinary, it's really
20-year
an
event.
exclusive.
Yeah, it won't happen for another 20 years. We're gonna do,
Yeah.
20-year
there's
event.
talk of, we're gonna try to do a time capsule. I mean, we're
No,
gonna try to.
here, it won't happen for the rest of our lifetimes.
Yeah,
It will not come to Indiana.
because this is,
Right,
a
yeah.
path that's coming right through here.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay, is that it for parks?
Yeah, basically, we approved the movie dates and things like that, so.
Okay. We don't have a Title VI update right now? Okay. New business, we are finally there. Excess stormwater fund spending, Commonwealth.
Oh, whatever you got, yeah. What do you need? Get that posted.
I'm over here.
Sure. However you feel comfortable.
Okay, I'll reintroduce myself. My name's Al Stone with Commonwealth Engineers. And I'm filling in for Darren Wells tonight. Darren managed your stormwater project. The stormwater project's complete. We have approximately $170,000 in excess funds. Those funds, the manner in which they were allocated, need to be spent on stormwater items. So some loans, you can take those funds and you can pay down the principal on the loan. That's not the case with this, with the manner in which we obtain the funding. And the funds can be spent on anything that you identify as solely allocated to the stormwater utility. So I know Tom talked about a building. If you wanted to put a building in, if you are going to indicate it's for your stormwater utilities solely, we could put a building in. The procedure is to put together an amendment to the preliminary engineering report. So the path of least resistance is going to be to identify something in which we can solicit quotes. You're going to want to solicit quotes, solicit 3 quotes, take the low quote, and then you can go out and purchase that item with these funds, as long as it's approved through the state revolving loan fund. So if it's a building, you're not going to want to proceed with the design of the building because the design is going to consume most of the money and then the bid will bid too high. But if it's some type of a kit type building, probably solicit some quotes for that. Anything else as far as maybe vehicle? that you
Yeah,
want?
we have a list of items that
Okay,
we put together. So we have the building, and then we have a truck, we have a vacuum trailer, and a rotter, is that correct? A rotter. All those are stormwater related items so the idea was, we'd start with the building and then spend down. So do we have to wait on, will they just basically say, okay, you're approved for the building, blah, blah, blah. If you're not approved for the building, then we can get the other items.
What I would recommend you do is any of the items that you want to be considered for is you solicit the 3 quotes.
Okay.
You provide us with 3 quotes that you solicited, and then we'll put together the engineering amendment inclusive of the 3 quotes for all of the items, see what gets approved, and then depending upon what gets approved, then you can identify which items you want to purchase.
You said that the items that we need to place into consideration can solely be used for the purpose of stormwater.
That's right.
Is that forever, or for the duration of the bond, or what is the time period on that?
Forever.
Forever.
So if we used it for other purposes, then we would be misappropriating it.
Correct.
Okay, good. And then how much was it?
Approximately $170,000. I believe it's closer to 172. We have the exact amount though. We can share
Okay,
that
that's
with you.
fine. I was just,
Do we have a time period that we have to submit to use these funds, or?
No, I think the sooner the better though, just, to clear the books and close things out.
Asking my question a different way. If we purchased items for stormwater use, how long do we have to keep a hold of those items?
Probably their youthful life, whatever that is, whatever the item is, whether it's 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, as the buildings are generally a lot longer, usually 20, 25 years.
Right. And there's a procedure for disposing of items that you purchase that you would need to go through.
Okay. That answers it.
So what we gonna do, you gonna just make up a list of Dale and just submit to him for
Yeah.
next meeting?
I'll
That
get
would
that.
just pass it
I'll
through us
take
so we
the
can all take
list.
a look at it.
Get 3 quotes.
I mean, because I've got your original list here,
Right.
the vacuum, I think the wood chipper is gonna be stretching it. I don't know how you got that in there, but okay.
I like that idea.
Hey, you can make it sound good coming through the sanitary, or through the stormwater.
The branches aren't going through the stormwater.
I think you could probably make that the case for that.
There you go. Hey, how you write it up.
And do you guys have any other ideas? I mean, if the building doesn't go, then $170,000 is a lot of money to spend.
Right. I mean, a stormwater utility, you need to equip yourself with vehicles and equipment like any other utility. So that's what I would look at. I'd look at what type of equipment, vehicles, things of that nature that you
I mean, could it be supplies as well? Or is it,
do whatever you want.
okay.
You can upgrade the computer for doing the billing for the
Oh, okay.
stormwater.
That's a good point.
Ooh, we definitely pay for some of the software costs for this, billing the stormwater.
Yeah. We just have to identify that it's solely for the stormwater utility.
Okay, all right.
If it's the software and it's a cost share, we could identify that and see what they have to say.
Okay, got it. And I do it, since I was the town board representation on the stormwater project, you guys did a great job of that. I just really appreciate the work that you guys did with us. Real professional, and the adjustments had to be made. You guys were great at it, things like that. Communications.
Well, Darren does a really good job, so.
Yeah, it was also breathing and.
Yeah.
So.
we had very, very few complaints.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really almost seamless.
Yeah, except for the
That's what
house
we're
that had
looking
heat. That got built.
Yeah.
Or by your place, old place.
I was a contractor, I wasn't.
Yeah. So you were gonna talk also about other things, is that?
Well, yeah, I was gonna ask, I was asking Adam if it's okay. The lead line inventory, I'm dealing with it at the regional level with a bunch of different communities, and there's some funds out there. Al, could you go into the lead line inventory and what they've done, what federal government's asking, and what money is available for us, and how we can recoup some of these costs?
And this is what we've already started.
Yeah, but that's why I just wanted him to do it, because there's a way we can get all the money back for the inventory and the drawings and get it replaced all the way to the resident's house on the other side of the meter, clear into the house. But I'll let him go into that, how we can do it.
The state revolving loan fund, they're providing grants for utilities that have a 1,000 users or more, you're around the 700.
700, yeah.
So you don't qualify for the grant. There's this place called 120 Water, and they're peddling the lead service line inventories, and what they do is they give you access to their software. And so they'll give you access to their software, and then your guys can do the best that they can at the lead service line inventories. You have two purposes for the lead service line inventories. By law, it needs to be completed October 26, 2024. So you have to have this done, and you have to have it submitted by that date. There's also funds available through the bill funding that President Biden passed. And those funds provide 50% grant, 50% zero interest loan to replace the lead service lines. Now, likely the game that the government's playing is you'll submit your lead service line inventory and say, here's the lead service lines I have. And then they'll come back and they'll say, okay, what's your plan to replace them? And then they'll identify your time frame. You may have heard several months ago, I think the Biden administration said 10 years. There's no time frame that's been established yet. But there will be a time frame that's established depending upon who's in office. This isn't good. This is a health hazard. It used to be that the levels for lead were a lot lower, but nobody could pass, and so they raised them. Also, you game the tests. So as far as testing, you can select the location in which you take your test, and you do it once every 3 years. So they're changing that as well. You have to take your tests at locations that are of higher threat that you potentially hit for lead, and you're going to have to do it annually. So right now, everybody says, well, we don't hit for lead. Well, it's because you're gaming your tests, and you go once every 3 years, and you're picking at locations that you know you're not going to hit. So everybody has lead in their lines. It's just a matter of how much and where. So what we do is we'll do our lead service line inventory, and it's a qualitative approach. So the qualitative approach, we go through surveys. So you probably have surveys that you're sending out. We can quantify the survey information. We look at dates in which structures have been built. If the structure's been built prior to 84 or 86, there's lead in the sod. So that means most likely you have lead in service lines. We put together heat maps. So the heat maps show if you're near a daycare, if you're near a retirement home, things of that nature, that's much higher threat because of sensitive communities. You also have areas that are considered disadvantaged areas. And those disadvantaged areas we identify, and they're eligible for 100% grant. So what we do, these inventories, the reason we're doing those, we're an engineering firm. So the reason we're doing those is because we want to put the inventories together so we can submit them as a preliminary engineering report to the State Revolving Loan Fund and see how much money they're going to give you in grant and in loan, and then talk to you about how much of any work you want to do. So, we don't really make money on the inventories. What we want to do is we want to do the design work. That's why we're in business, to do the inventories. So we can do the inventory for you, but the purpose of the inventory is to assemble it in a fashion that will then allow us to assemble the preliminary engineering report, submit the preliminary engineering report, and see what we can get in grant and 0% loan. Then we come back and we work with your rate consultant and we say, okay, you have, of your 700 homes, 400 have a high or a medium chance of having lead. And if you replace each of those lead service lines, it's going to average anywhere from $5,000 to $7,500 per home. So this is the cost. And you'll see what the impact to your rate is on that based upon grant and zero interest loan money. And you'll look at it and say, well, you can't afford that. But then we'll work on nickel and diming that down to where you are comfortable with the number. Also, you definitely are going to want to do your disadvantaged areas because it's 100% grant. So you want to make sure that you can harvest the 100% grant. You want to submit on everything to see how much grant and zero interest loan you can get, because they haven't really been distributing these funds yet. Everybody's been dragging their feet because they don't know what's going on. They're not quite sure what to do. They don't want to raise their rates. Doesn't hurt anything to submit and see what you can get. So that's why I'm here to present this. We've done it for dozens and dozens of communities. We just started to complete our lead service line inventories, and we're in the process of submitting the preliminary engineering reports. The bill funds are good for 5 years. I think we're 2 or 3 years in, so you got 2 or 3 more rounds. So if you're gonna do it, you wanna get the lead service line inventory done, then you wanna submit and see what you can get in grant money. Now, if you just wanna complete your lead service line inventory, do it local, say you don't have any lead, do whatever, it's just check the box. You know, that's not the real issue. The issue is, you do have lead, where are your highest priority issues, where are the disadvantaged areas? Let's identify it, let's see what we can afford, and let's get a jump start on it with grant money while there's grant money available. And then we can budget this out, the rest of it out, over the next 10 years, 20 years, whatever the time frame is. You can build that into your rate. So you have 700 customers, maybe we do 200 or 300, maybe you have 100 or 200 left, and you budget 10 a year for the next 10 years. And you want to get it into a position where it's manageable and you have a plan.
So my understanding, Al, was that our water lines were put in the mid-90s,
Mhm.
and that there is no lead unless it's a connection at the house. Is that incorrect, or?
If all your water lines were put in the mid-90s, most likely not.
Okay.
But, you know, that's your water mains. That's not necessarily your service lines with the homes. I mean, the homes weren't all built. in the
And that's the
90s.
reason for the survey, right? What they're doing now.
Right. I mean, the way this grant works is typically the community owns, you have your service line, you have a lateral or you have your main line, you have your service line from the main line to the meter. Typically, you own that from the main line to the meter. And then from the meter to the home, the homeowner owns it.
Right.
Well, the problem is with this grant is you got to replace from the main line into the home to the shutoff valve. That's what the grant's for. So it's not just your responsible area, it's the homeowner's responsible areas too. Because if you just replace it from your location to the meter, then you have to advertise it, you have to flush it for 2 or 3 days, you have to provide them with Brita filters for a certain amount of time, there's all kinds of requirements. So the most prudent approach is you do the surveys of the home, you do the surveys of your areas, maybe your lines are all fine, and we just look at it and we say, hey, you know, we're gonna have to replace these from the meters into the homes. And you look at it and you say, yeah, that's not our responsibility, that's the homeowner's responsibility, we're gonna have to come up with a different approach. But you do want to gather the information, see where you are, see what you can get, and you know, go from there. Now, the problem that we found is in the homes, a lot of times that shut-off valve sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes the electrical grounding is connected to your water pipe. So the places that I've done these service line replacements, a lot of it is, you know, we're going to have to go out during the construction process, include an allowance so that we can have the plumber do the inspection in the basement or wherever it is, have an electrician do the inspection, see if we have to put grounding rods in, things of that nature. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
I think Brad's got a question.
Most of our water line services that run from the meter to the house, when we put all the water line in, they made us go underneath the footer up and put a shut off in there. So we're all plastic all the way into the house.
well, that's great. If that's the case, if you're all plastic into the house to the shut-off line, you have no issues.
I mean, that's how they made us put all the water lines in. Because I did a lot of them, where you had to dig underneath the footer and go in, so we're plastic all the way in the house.
When were your homes built in Daleville, though? I mean, how old are the homes here?
Mine's 1967.
Right, so, I mean, typically, if the homes are built, you know, you've had water lines coming out of your homes that aren't gonna be plastic, and those are connected at some locations to the,
That's why we have.
Well, here, when they put the water lines in, they made them put all brand new services in, and they went in and hooked wherever they got the service line inside, the plumbers did all the rest of it inside.
Yeah.
That's the way I understand it. Because we do have an ordinance
That's
where
why
they
we were
have.
asking them the connection inside their house. That's what we, wow. that's what
Sure.
we
I mean,
understand.
if you're 100% sure that you have plastic all the way to the shut-off valve in the house, you don't need this done. You've got zero lead.
So is there something we should do to test that? I mean, is there a way for like you guys to come in and just make sure that what he says is correct?
They do have, that's a pretty invasive process.
Is it?
There is a company that provides some form of testing. Your best bet is just go into the basement. I mean, do a sampling of some homes, go into the basement, look at your shut-off valve, look at the pipe from the shut-off valve in the basement. You know, take it 20 or 30 homes, look. If all of them are plastic, it's fine, you don't need it.
So for me, to recap, where does the town's responsibility end?
Because of the utility, because this is mandatory to utilities.
No, I mean, like, at what point? Does it end at the shut off
Oh, I think.
at the house?
If you want
I
to
want the
utilize,
liability, I want the
Well,
liability, that's
well,
liability.
yeah,
Same
both.
thing.
That's
Okay, that's where I was.
where, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, where does it stop?
you don't have to ask your attorney that. I always thought that what you owned was from your line to the meter.
Right.
Mhm.
That's the town's responsibility on the meter to the lot, to the main.
Right, but we're having to do a physical inventory and report back what the actual connection from the meter to the house is also, correct?
Because if it's left there, we can inspect, everything is plastic there, but going back there, if there's lead, they can come back and contaminate.
We identify from the line to the meter, we identify from the shut-off valve to the meter. Then we do heat maps to show, what the issue is on each side. And then go from there.
But we're under
Then
no
you have-
obligation to make any repairs to anything beyond our utility. So from the shut off or the connection, the meter connection to the house is the homeowner's responsibility.
Correct. If you want to access these grants, you have to take it all the way into the house.
Because if you don't, and you're relying on the homeowner to do it, once we do it to the meeting, you still don't have a guarantee that they're gonna do it. They could leave it to deal and the lead could still come back into the water.
So that's my question. We're sending out the survey to everybody and telling them, go look at your shut off. Tell us which one you have.
Right.
And they tell us, some of them have no clue where their shut off is, but, and they tell us it's copper.
Right.
We don't worry about it. We just noted it because we have to submit to the state an answer for every single household. That's what we have. There's a spreadsheet, a whole thing online, and that's what that's what I understood was our responsibility to do. Is that
It
correct?
is. This is a huge pain in the butt.
Oh, yeah.
And
We've already had 65 people turn these in,
let me give you
and
this.
probably 65 phone calls asking us where their shut off is.
This is what you're turning, and I hid some of the columns, but this is what you're turning into.
Right, yeah. I showed this to Trina, this is what we were working on. This is what they're going to do.
So, question. No,
Do we not have to report this at a certain time from now as being the water utility that we've done the inventory and we're probably somebody, whether it's a supervisor or president, gonna sign off on this?
What happens, I sent this inventory out, and then half the people don't answer.
Right.
What are we supposed to do?
There's
We
a,
can't knock on their door and say, I need to see your water shut off.
there's a qualitative approach. So you have a quantitative and a qualitative approach. You have work orders. If you have work orders when you've done repairs, if you have a history of when projects were done. So, you've indicated that everything was plastic. Give us the records associated with those projects so that we can quantify it house by house by house. Just because the problem is that you're getting these surveys back and they're saying, okay, it's copper. Well, the issue is if it's copper, there's lead in the solder. If it was put in before 84 or 86, there's lead in the solder. So if it's copper, it hits as lead.
I don't know, that's a good question.
So inside, so let's say my shut off looks like the copper line. And if
Yeah.
there was lead how, all I'm gonna do is say this is a copper line.
There's lead and solder.
They're gonna send it back to me, to us, and we're gonna say a copper line on the thing. And they're happy with that, even though there could be lead in the solder that was used to,
Well, they're not happy with it. You're gonna, if you don't put eyes on it, it's lead. Okay? So if you don't put eyes on it, it's lead. We're doing a qualitative survey. So the qualitative survey assesses risk. So with that qualitative survey, we identify, we call it high, medium, low, and low risk. So what we're doing is we're identifying your high risk areas. We're identifying the areas where you can get work done for free. And then we're soliciting to see what kind of money you can get. Once we identify what kind of money you can get, you have to get easement from these people during design. So what I found is when you go and you ask for easement to replace their lines, half of them think it's Publisher Clearinghouse and it's a fake, and they're not going to give you any, they don't sign up. And then they wait until they see their neighbors are getting service lines, and then they run out and say, well, I want to do it too. So, if you want to replace 200 lines, you can assume you're actually going to get 100 easements. So you end up designing twice as much as you have funds for, and you basically bid it from the ranking system. And then you go through, and when you do the design, you go and you do the physical inspections. And when you have somebody come in, you have a town representative with you, you have the engineer go in and do the physical inspection, and that's when you can knock it off the list and say, no, that's not what it is. But this is the process that you go through. That's the cost-effective process that allows you to get the money for the project, and then allows you to do this, because you can't afford to do it any other way. The issue is if you do this survey is like $20,000. Okay, so $20,000, you get this thing done, you get it turned in, you meet the requirement. Then we put together the preliminary engineering report, we submit it to the state. In that preliminary engineering report, we identify the project cost. So we look to recover the cost of your lead service line inventory. We look to recover the cost of your preliminary engineering report. Then we identify all the costs of the engineering, all the costs of the construction project, total project cost, let's say it's $2 million. So all those costs are in there, we total it up, and we ask for 50% grant, 50% zero interest loan. And we see what they give us. Now they've provided $43 million a year for 5 years under the bill funds for wastewater. And I think they've put in very similar just for lead service line replacement. So, if you want to get it subsidized, it's time to get one to get it subsidized. If you don't, you can turn your survey in. It'll probably take a while. I mean, it'll all probably be off the board by the time this hits, but who knows how long it's going to take them to catch up to everybody. But I think it's most likely is a best practice based upon what the costs are to take this first step and just kind of take one step at a time, see what you get. And if it gets to the point where it's cost prohibitive, throw your hands up and say, look, we can't afford it for a small town. It's not worth it. Come get us.
So I think what you said got kind of lost in their separate meaning. But is my understanding, you said your company is offering services for about $20,000 to do this, to give us some assurance that we comply.
We'll make sure that everything's done. We'll provide it to your water superintendent, because they're the ones that have to submit. We'll make sure then that you comply to that, you meet that October 2024 deadline. And then we're assembling a format that then we can solicit for the grant money. So, what you're putting together, you'll put something together and, you can say, here, I'm submitted, and it may or may not meet their requirements, but you can't go after any money for it. I mean, what we're doing is we're putting together the information in a format that then allows us to go after the grant money. So,
Hey, now, one quick question. I don't know if you have a quick answer, but quick question. When you say disadvantaged areas, how do they define that? Is that based on Economic?
How do you think Biden defines that?
I mean,
wind blows.
That's what I thought.
China, it's in China.
There's set definitions for economic for areas
Yeah.
in the federal register.
Yeah, the reason why I ask is Daleville is per capita lower income. So we might qualify for a lot more disadvantaged area than maybe another.
Income does have a lot to do with it. We've done lead service line inventories in Mount Pillier. Mount Pillier is lower income as well.
Right.
They have a larger disadvantaged area. We've done them in Rochester. Rochester has some disadvantage. Every location, Crown Point's affluent. They have disadvantaged areas.
Right, yeah. I would imagine in larger cities, you have opportunities for disadvantaged areas easily. But I'm just looking at Daleville and thinking that we might actually on a per capita basis.
Right. Well, there's
Greater.
two ways you can go after this money. One is you do the lead service line inventory, then you submit the preliminary engineering report to go after 50% grant, 50% loan. If you have a water utility and you have problems with it, and let's say I need a new well, or I need this, or I need that. Well, then you put together your preliminary engineering report to say, here's my utility, here's my shortcomings of the utility, here's what I need to do. And you submit on it, and you can reduce your interest rate on whatever that loan is down to zero and get a secondary bond for the difference to do the service lines as well. I'm not aware of any issues you have with your water utility, so that's why I'm speaking to that.
So can you provide us an engagement letter? Basically, what you're gonna provide, how much service would be?
All right here.
And
Money
then
the chairs.
we're okay to wait till next month to make our decision on that, right? What happens if you come in here and you take a look at a few things, you say, oh, you're right, you're plastic all the way to the thing. You're still gonna bill for 20,000 or?
Well, I might have believed for $20,000 if I find out after 5 hours or 8 hours I don't need anything.
Okay.
So, how about this?
Well, give us the letter. So we can make
You
this
want to
decision.
negotiate now? You seriously want to do that?
No, I say it's not 20,000.
Okay.
We're not gonna do any physical inspections. We're gonna do a qualitative analysis, which involves a lot of record search, things of that nature. So you might be surprised what you find out.
So we can make
We'll
this
take the
decision
letter.
in February, right? We're okay in February, it makes sense? Okay.
Okay. You got what, you pass it,
Yeah, it's simple.
you got a copy of your engagement letter?
It's actually a contract, so.
Okay.
But it has I'll provide this up so you guys can look at it, but it's pretty typical of the other communities that we've provided it to.
Comes over one.
That's my second request, is I think I want to do sanitation, and Brandy can do water.
Oh, yeah. You've already stepped
So,
in.
wrong side of the
You gotta clean off your own shoes.
Okay,
So-
thank you, Al.
Sure. Any other questions?
Good.
I do have a quick one.
Sure.
If we need you for the water loss audit, or do we need to get something like this as well?
Yeah, water loss audits, you need to do a audit every year, and you need to do an audit and validation every other year.
Right.
So this year is an audit and validation. And so we offer those services as well. Again, the reason that we do them is because we figure we'll go through, we'll find out what's wrong with your stuff, and then you'll want to fix it, and then we'll be able to design it. So if you want us to perform your audit and validation, we can put that together. Most communities get a very poor score when they go through the audit and validation. What it's intended to do, it's intended to identify your water loss. So basically, a lot of communities, their water loss is over 50%. So I don't know where you've been scoring.
We've done it is it 2 times we've done it? When did it
Yes.
start? It seems like I said, we've done it before.
Yeah.
We've used Pete Olson in Yorktown. He did it for free to be part of his certification. However, he's moved on, And so we need to look for somebody to
Yeah.
do it.
Ain't using anymore.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Not getting a
Meredith
discount.
saying, "I'll let him do that."
Yeah, and unfortunately, these are all
Well,
requirements.
give us what you have on that as well.
We'll do.
So we're gonna need someone to do that, so.
If we have done a couple audits, what was our percentage?
I don't remember, but it was what
Brad
like you
has to do,
said.
do you
But
remember?
it was,
I mean, we did pretty good, really.
give me a few minutes, I'll find it.
I'm just curious.
Actually, I think we done pretty good, really.
I'll ask Free.
They say we did well, but it's still a big number. I mean,
They said we did well, but.
Thank you, Al.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
The, let's stick with water for now, and the Baker Tilly water rate study.
Now, I didn't bring my copy in. We had that meeting last month regarding, can you pull that, you don't have it on there, do you?
You didn't give us the electronic copy, I don't think. Did you?
I sent it to you, I think.
Baker Tilly, we got,
We'll give you
yes,
this.
Baker Tilly, we got, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was 363, we were at 316. God, I can't remember the numbers. One was 638. I can't remember what the bottom one was.
I gotta go out to the
I
car and
pulled
get
up.
it. What do you guys?
Yeah, it's on here. I got it too.
I've got it in here too.
And
I mean, I think the board, previous board was fine with what they had, except for we didn't like the implementation. Like the first, this, putting it all into 1 year.
Yeah, you guys usually spread it out over
Yeah.
4 years
Mhm.
and did it that way.
Yeah, we're looking at 3 to 4 years.
Yeah. Belleville Water Study, yeah. What do you want to do in between, Tom?
here we go. Got it. What page?
It's page 9. Difference of 376 to 628, we're currently, charge of 2853 is the current bill. Provision, or there's two options, one and option two was 376, option two was 628. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, is it?
It is on this one.
30, 40, okay, oh, okay, down to the bottom, last line. Got it. So the average residential bill will move from, well, I think we're below that now because that alternative.
If you go to the if you go to the 376, you're 3229, if you go to provision two, you're 3481. Is that not correct?
Yeah,
That's right.
One's a 13%, the other's 22.
right.
And this is the water study, and this is the one me and you talked about on the phone, that we did this back when, right when you came on.
Yeah, we
It
did.
was 5 years, we would always go to the other side, the 628 provision two. We would take that and divide it by 5 and do that small increase over the next 5 years, and the 5th year do the water study over again. Is that right?
Exactly, that's what we did last
Yeah,
time.
I think we should do the exact
It's
same.
usually
thing.
what we do.
Yeah, I just say that's,
It's less of a shock to,
yeah, and I mean, when we did it, we do the provision two, what me and you did was $1.25.
yeah, and there, at that time, there hadn't been a,
We didn't do nothing for 16 years when we got in. 16 years, nothing was
16
done.
years.
We had to catch up,
Yeah.
and we managed it.
yeah,
since then.
yeah.
Okay.
So
So
that's normally the way we do it.
we need to do a 4%, no, 4.5% raise each year for the next 5 years, correct?
What you do to sue.
Yeah, we need to do 1.5% raise each year for the next 5 years. And then
To get to 628,
Yes,
whatever it is, divide it up over 5 years.
yes, let's, yeah.
Go.
Okay,
Yes.
so we have to do a public hearing, correct?
Yes,
And so Amy will
Freak
lead
out a
us.
little bit.
I did.
you have the ordinance, introduce the ordinance to the public hearing, and then adopt the ordinance to increase the rates.
Right.
So it'd be 4.5% each year over 5 years.
So again, can we do this at the next board meeting, every bit of it? So the first thing you come here and we'd have the hearing, right?
No, you would introduce it and you would have the public hearing on the rate increase. You couldn't officially approve it until the March meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
So it'd
So you
take two meetings.
Okay.
You're also having a public hearing for your additional appropriation in February as well.
It's just,
So we could do them both together?
You can do them one after the
One
other.
after the other,
Right,
but
yeah,
I just
go ahead,
wanted to-
do them the same.
I just wanted to make you aware there was another one.
Yeah.
So, do we need to do a motion to put this, so he puts it together? For that, what do you need from us, John, to
Do we need to, do we
to
put a
put this
motion on that?
together? What do you need from the board?
I think I have a consensus of the board. I need the rate study from Baker Tilly,
Okay, I'll
so I
send
can
it
put
to you.
it together, for an ordinance to be introduced at the next meeting. Amy will do you'll me do the notice, or you'll me publish it, or how would you like to do that?
You go ahead, I'm working on another one.
Okay, all right, I will take care of the publication of the notice for the public hearing.
Okay.
And we're talking the 12th of February, correct?
Wow.
Hang on, yeah, hold that.
But we will have a date.
We'll have the day, it'll be close to that, but let's just say the 12th right now.
okay, so
That may change. Steve and I change the meeting to Tuesday.
let's do the next.
Forever?
Are we good?
Do the,
Okay.
Are we good on the rate studies?
Yeah.
Let's move to the bottom bullet point, the possibility of changing the meeting date first, to move to Tuesdays.
John, does that pose a problem for you? That's the only one I didn't ask.
It'd be the second Tuesday.
Instead of the first.
Right now, I have two other municipalities that meet on the second Tuesday of each month, Eaton and Selma. I'm not required to go to Eaton's on a regular basis. Selma's being covered by Danielle in our office, but if I'm required to go to Selma, that may pose an issue. Because I have an associate attorney that lives in McCordsville, or Fortville, or one of those, yeah. And he has 4 kids. So his availability to be in the evening is very limited.
Well, I had talked to each of the board members separately, these texts. And I have a recovery group that I lead on Monday nights. And so once a month, I have to miss that meeting. Now I have other people that can cover. I can continue that. I prefer not doing that if I could. But if I don't want to create a problem for everybody else. But that's why I'm asking that the meetings might be changed to second Tuesday. And there are some months where we have to anyway meet on Tuesday. I think there's a couple of them already.
I do know that I do have to go to Eaton on February 13th right now. So they've already requested that.
We could start the meetings, could start on Tuesdays, even after that, it might be a wait till March. But anyway, that was just a request on my part. I don't want to hold the board hostage on that. I'm just trying to make something work better for me.
Understood. I understand too.
Okay. Piggybacking on that, one thing I would like for us to discuss is the possibility of compressing these meetings a little bit. On Monday nights, we have the park meeting that meets, 5:30 to 6? And then we have a slot right now reserved for BZA, 6 to 6:30. Planning and zoning meets 6:30 to 7, and then we meet. It's been, a year probably since BZA has met. And what I would propose is that we move planning and zoning and BZA to 6 to 6:30, and then we meet here at 6:30. So that we're not just sitting for half an hour like we normally do.
What do you think?
If we started it next month, it would only be 7:52 right now.
the park board would have to get much more efficient because they never run from 5:30 to 6. They run from 5:30 to 6:30, 90% of the time.
No, I think you're wrong.
I know somebody that might know somebody that might be able to do something about that. Just give them a window and say 5:30, you're done.
No, 6:06 we adjourned today.
It's January.
Yeah, Terry had a question back here.
A lot of times in the summer, the park board runs from 5:30 to 6:30.
Exactly. Thank you, Terry.
Sorry, Amy.
Well, but it's
But
because
sometimes
it's
it
summer
don't.
and we have, yes, we have a lot of issues.
So we take the win and we compress the 30 minutes, and if the town board meeting starts late, I'd rather, it just starts late rather than wait. So could we change to 6:30 from now on without it being much of an issue for anybody?
We can try it.
Try. What about, okay, before we do that, I mean, we'll do that, but what about the Tuesday and Steve? He's still got a question on the table that I don't want to ignore. He's asked us all to consider. And if I mean, he needs to know so he can make arrangements from here moving forward. I understand John's situation and ours, but I mean, we're small town Delville, and no offense, John, we don't need an attorney every single, I mean, we want a meeting without John, I don't think the earth would shatter and the sky would fall.
Yeah, I don't go to eating all that often.
That's what I was gonna say, I think we're talking on a rare basis, I don't think it's gonna be something.
They do have some new board members up there, so.
Yeah, we're going up, I think, I don't know if we're in the same one you are, me and Brad's presenting, and theirs, that'll create a situation where I've got to meet like you, but that's just one, I gotta go, if they've asked us to come up there, I gotta go up there for ECI, Brad's gotta go for redevelopment. So, we're
That'd be good to
presenting
start in
that.
March. That'd be good to start in March. If we started in March, we avoid one conflict we know of right now, and we don't push the change until March. That way we still meet at the predetermined time in February, because we have all these other notices that either have went out or need to go out, so then we just start in March. 2 days.
I'm good with that. You good? And I make a motion, we change the meeting time for the town board to 6:30.
And on Tuesday
And on
nights.
Tuesday
And on
night,
Tuesday
starting
night, and on
March.
Tuesday night, starting in March,
Second Tuesday.
second Tuesday of the month, starting in March. And all meetings will be moved to 6:30, starting in February.
What does that do to, are you okay with that, Kristen, on planning and zoning? Your time doesn't make a difference? Yeah. We'll ignore him.
Yeah, I'm fine with it too.
So meetings
Yeah.
move
February.
to second Tuesday, beginning when?
March,
March 6:30.
March 12th.
No, ours would be 6
And we
o'clock.
start,
Yes.
town board meeting starts at 6:30 with February meeting. Oh,
So next month's meeting will,
still be on the second Monday
right,
at 6:30.
but it's
And then on March, we go to 6:30 on Tuesday. From there on out.
It helps my daytime.
You and me both, and you're old. you live
Meeting
early.
time will be
This is well past mine, I should be in the chair.
February.
Yeah, you're more free to get out, you got a ways to drive there, sir.
I know, we still have at least half an hour. Okay, the next,
Whoa, we haven't voted.
oh, that's right.
And
We
who
made a
seconded
motion.
the?
I made
who
a
seconded
motion.
the motion.
Go
I
for it.
seconded it.
Randy second, got a motion in a second, and a time change,
Yeah.
and the date change, starting in March.
So meeting moved to second Tuesday, beginning in March. Meeting time will be 6:30 PM, beginning in February.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Where are you jumping at now?
thanks, John.
Let's
Thank you.
get back into another one. Water plant, resolution 2024-01, taxes, or payment in lieu of taxes.
Oh, it's yours.
I think that was gonna be an easy one.
Every year, we take a look at the operations of water utility and see if we can make a transfer to the general fund, basically, for payment in lieu of taxes. And so I make a motion that we do so in the amount of $15,000.
Maybe a second.
Could I ask what the current balance is? I mean, I didn't see the deal, I didn't see it, we didn't get a phone report deal on this, I'm sure you looked. I'm just curious. Where we finish at, what we started with, anybody know? I seen the one you give
I
that you
have
dropped off,
seen
which
it,
was the
but
close of
offhand,
23. I didn't see
I can
anything.
give you a
I mean, I
general
just
one,
asked.
I got a fund
Like I said,
report.
yes, I ain't even seen nothing.
It was in that reconcilement.
Your water utility operating, there is $113,000
Thank you.
is the end of November.
We could take up to 30. We just kind of,
Then 10%. Oh, no, 10%.
I think, well, no, it's based on a big calculation, and the way Baker Tilly, I think, helped us out with this one year. And we could actually take up to $30,000.
I thought it
So
was
based on,
10%.
it's based on operating, depreciation, blah, blah, blah.
Calculated number, but you're going for 15 right now.
Yeah, we've never really gone any higher than that.
I think we did maybe 10 once and then we went up to 15.
Second,
All in favor?
What resolution number was that?
20,
2401.
2401.
Because the ordinance was one also.
too soon?
I was right. Let's just keep it that way.
I didn't know that.
You gotta go to a vote.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, next.
Signature, please.
I'm trying to get the
And I
ones that
didn't
I
get any
think
food
might
today.
be easy.
My husband didn't.
Uh, Stream monitoring contract.
Yeah.
Tom? You want me to do it? I mean, I can do it.
Yeah, this has been a pain. I'm sorry.
Okay, and there's two, and I asked, we've been on the monitoring, when we got done, we should only had to do this 3 to 5 years. I asked, and I sent a deal over, did they give us where we were out last year when we paid for it? Did we get a list from them on where we were out of sequence and why we had to monitor another year?
We did get something.
Yes.
I was looking for it and then something else. You actually put something
Basically-
else.
Okay, no, we just need to
Basically, they
identify
said-
that, and we need to take care of it, so we can.
Basically, they set us up. We talked about
Exactly.
this.
This is a
They
setup.
set us up.
And this is what, see,
So
I
that
called
they have to
Cecil, he goes,
monitor
why in
for
the
another
heck are
year."
you still doing this? He goes, didn't they give you a list of what you were out? All you had to do was correct and you're done. It's over.
Yeah,
So
but
that's
the
why I asked you
corrections
for
we
less.
couldn't
Cecil, I don't know,
do.
I wasn't there, but let
We
me
had
ask
to pay
Tom.
somebody to make the corrections.
Now,
what
is
it
this the
is.
same company that did it, excuse me, I'm sorry, that did it,
It's your bedtime.
that was medicine time. Is this the same company that did it last year?
I think
Same
it
company
is.
did it
Then
last
if
year.
and my question is, if it is, and you think we got tricked and we go that way, why are we going back down the same rabbit hole again? And I don't want to get out in the deal, but if they got us out, we didn't get out of it, we're now, I've been
I
gone
would
4
have to
years,
go
and the
back
department's
and
up 2
look at it.
years.
I would have to go back and look at the whole thing all over again to see how it, because
Well, the one
Honestly,
thing
I
I
do
know
not
is this
remember.
Crystal DeBoer was the one that was back when I was on, when I was over the project manager for the park.
She's still there.
They just changed company names. This company has changed names 3 times. I know the name. I don't know this company.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is Cecil said, Bill, you guys should have been done with that. You shouldn't
Yes,
pay for
we
this no
should have been
more.
done.
So what I'm saying is, if that's the case, and you guys agree, and now that I've put 2 and 2 together, why are we doing the same contract with the one when we've already
That's
spent
why it's
thousands of
been
dollars?
sitting,
Why are we
because-
going back down the rabbit hole again? I don't have anybody in mind. I don't have another quote.
No, I know.
I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying, that's why it came up. Aren't we done with this? We should have been done with this. So that's why it came up and I
I
handed
think-
it off.
Shouldn't the
No,
DNR, shouldn't the DNR sign that over to us?
I'm sorry?
Shouldn't the DNR sign that over
Yeah,
to us?
once we did the monitoring and everything was
4 years.
established. If all the criteria was met within the stream when it was set up, the trees and all that stuff for the filtering, so that should have been signed off, but they should have given us a list of what needed done if we didn't qualify, so that the next year when they came in, it was completed by them or in that
That's, I
time,
think
and
that's
we're
the
done.
issue. They keep coming up with, you have invasive species.
That was it.
Invasive,
Invasive
invasive or invasive?
Invasive
Invasive.
species.
And see, we can't get away from the
Weeds
state
growing
until
in
one of these signs off on it. This
We
is
have
what's holding us
invasive
back.
species, which is the thistles and
There's some
something
kind
else.
of poison stuff.
Sumac.
The hemlock, the sumac,
Hemlock.
hemlock and all that.
Hemlock, yep.
So
They know, we
did-
talked
They were
about
supposed
this.
to, did they treat for it last year?
No, we didn't see the guys at all. We didn't see them at all last year.
Nope.
The guy that lives over behind the thing, he come over and sprayed it all for us.
Yeah.
He did a lot of the
What's
work.
his name?
Burns. Bert, Andy,
Burns. He came over and,
he put a
helped
seal
us
on,
out for free.
Anthony Burns.
Anthony Burns.
$1,000. And what I'm saying is, I know, it was small, but where, to me, it just,
Oh, yeah, why don't you look into that?
I can't, I'll find another one, but it's just, I was
Well,
on
I
4
wanna know
years and I
what-
know we did at least 2
I wanna
years.
know
once,
what
and it's like,
Make a phone call to her first, and let her have it.
Okay, but I mean, it's like, why the hell are we still, our heads still doing this when, I mean, I was going 4 years. So that shocked me when I got that. I mean, it's like,
Well,
So they
after
won't pay
4
them.
years they monitored, they gave us the list. I remember the
You
We're paying
list.
them to not do their job, then, right?
Yeah, they keep hitting us for $4,000 a year to do the same thing they're supposed to help us eliminate, that we
But
don't have to do no
nobody-
more, but we're
we've
not
not-
eliminating.
We've not seen anyone come and treat for hemlock or the thistles.
They pay us.
I'll take
They're not
this,
doing our job,
let's,
Therefore, they have to keep
They
paying.
come in there and tell you what
hey, I motion to table until next meeting.
Okay, I'm good with that.
You're gonna
You're
research.
gonna, Bill's gonna research.
We need a second on that.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll second that.
All right, everybody in favor of tabling the
Hemlock.
Stream monitoring.
Stream monitoring
extortion
contract.
system?
Stream monitoring contract, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You need a second, who gave the second?
I gave it to Tom. Oh, wait, it was you?
Oh,
Okay.
Tom.
Who seconded it?
I did.
Okay.
And I said yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, next, what's the next hand grenade? Additional appropriation for 2024 budget.
This will be short and sweet.
Yeah, we just need to approve it.
That's not.
No. yeah,
We
that-
found out, we're gonna have a public hearing. I'm gonna do everything ready, have a public hearing at the February meeting. And then we will have the public hearing and then we can approve the resolution that we have. And then I send it all to Gateway and Gateway doesn't meet and do their approving of it until mid-February. We will have it in.
You get-
Okay.
That has to do with the $25,000 we're getting each year.
So I just have to get it in.
Getting as much as we want, but if we don't include it in our budget or appropriation, we can't spend it.
And that's, when we talked about it, it's because the DLGF is the old, and now it has to go back through them.
This is the only year you'll have to do that because
After this,
this all came in after your budget was submitted.
Right.
If we got it, yeah.
All right, got it. This next one is easy, 2024 election site moving, and I would counter, this is not just 2024, this would be
Oh, but yeah.
from here on out. Moving it away from the school, they are requesting that they no longer post the election, we should just do it here.
And actually, that was Rick Spangler.
yes.
We talked to Rick, and he said he did, and we didn't, when we went and voted, we thought the same thing. Why are we letting strange people in the school to vote? You know? It's a
Yeah.
security issue.
Oh, yeah.
And so he basically said, I want to get all of them out of the schools. And he would love to have it here.
I think
But he wants to do both precincts here,
And I think it's doable.
which you can do.
You're saying here?
Mhm.
Why don't we do it at the town, at the farm?
Wow.
With more parking.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have.
Well,
Incentivize the use of any.
The idea
Never
was,
mind, never mind, I retract.
the idea is that you do both precincts here. It cuts down on his cost of having two separate teams of running them.
Sure.
And we easily can accommodate that here.
So do we need to make?
And they run it, so.
Actually, what is done is the commissioners are the one that contract and assign the voting locations. What you should do is just send a letter to the commissioners saying, with a copy to Rick, that you'd be happy to host the election for the primary and general election in 2024 at the Delano Town Hall with your address. Then the commissioners will then send you a contract for a lease, I think it's $1, and then they'll publish that.
Can we just do that as an email? Just email to Rick that we have an interest in doing that here?
You actually need to do it to the commissioners for the
Oh,
copy
okay,
to
to
Rick,
the commissioners.
because the commissioners are by law, the ones that have to contract for the election locations.
So I think we could just do that.
You want me to do, I can just send email or I need to write a letter to them?
Either one.
Okay. Commissioners, copy to Rick requesting the
James King is the president of the board of commissioners this term.
handle it.
I think you know his email address.
Yeah, I think they do.
Okay, ECI board appointments. John, who can we not appoint?
Well, you can't appoint me because I'm the director.
He's
That's where I'm
already
the board,
going.
so I am out of play on this. So this is between you four. And I need an elected official. I need an elected official. That board has to be made up of 2/3 elected officials. I'm sorry, but I need all the elected officials I can get by where I see go. So I need,
What time when do you meet?
we meet 4 times a year at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
At
That's
the
one I've been
Innovation
going to.
Connect. Yep,
Do you have
That's
a
one of
preference?
them.
Huh?
Do you have a preference?
over No, I mean, I don't. I mean, Brandy's the newest one, and I was giving her, if Steve, I know you're busy and missed a meeting or two. No, you've been going, but she knows no one within the region. It'd be a good introduction for her. I think of the four of us are well established within the region. Everybody knows who we are, where we're at. It'd be nice to get her to where she can get to meet somebody and get some new ideas. So I would be good with that.
Are you open to that?
Yes, I am.
So that comes from you.
Well,
It's just a board appointment.
yep, and if you are good with it, I'm not, I do not like to just unilaterally make a decision.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So
Because
forget
at
that.
one point, there was a president who just assigned the crap out of me to things.
Well, you were gone.
That was.
You were-
Never
Yeah,
been to February
It was
meeting.
only the person didn't show up.
I know, and it's because,
Yeah, the rest of us were fine.
yes, yes.
Don't look at me. I wasn't here
Should've
last
showed
night.
up.
Yes, I was at the bottom of the
I
hill
wouldn't
at
point
the,
any fingers at
Do I need to fill out that form or will,
I have it.
who,
On that, don't forget that letter or whatever you had to send out.
Point-
I got it.
She should have, I just sent them out and had Angie send them on.
Make sure.
all right, what is this town exact money?
That's your thing.
Yeah, that's the mess we've got into with the, squad room being at 78 degrees for 2 months.
And I still.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, wait, hang on. I want to talk to them. I never did see the other one.
Oh,
We did.
I sent it to you again today.
I was in meetings and bouncing, I came straight from my last meeting to here. I've never seen, I've seen all of them, but I've not all of them. I've seen the first one, but I didn't see the second one for Chris.
I think, yeah, well, these are different things, but are closely related.
He might have, it might be in that stack over there.
This, this is just jogging a thought here on this HVAC monitoring, just so you two know. We had and continue to have a ton of issues with the heating and air system in this building.
Right.
From poorly engineered to poorly implemented. That's overselling. Craig
My son.
Roberts has done a fantastic job of holding not only Carrier, but
Installation people.
the installation. Who was that, Brad?
Well,
The installation people.
Godby?
Godby, thank you, Dan. Godby to task on this system, along with Jackson Controls, who handled the monitoring of the system. But Craig has done all of it. Literally cut our bills in half from when we first started. He continues, at this point, for zero compensation, has continued to ensure that our system operates as best that it can. This bullet point is, it's catching me off guard, but it is a good talking point. We should consider to continue to do something for Craig, because he has worked well above and beyond what we initially asked him to do, and continues to do at, like I said, zero compensation. I don't care if we do anything
That's
tonight.
not why this is on the list though. And he would say he doesn't care about that. He just.
He's glad to
loves-
help us out.
Yeah, he loves to help the town. I mean, he's from here.
Yeah.
So he wants to help us. He wanted to help the school, so he met with the school, but he's doing it pretty much for.
Can you, since I can't find the other one on my phone, can you, I mean, the
No,
Baker,
this
the
is a
Baker.
different, this is a total different subject right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
That-
sorry.
so
What am I not understanding? Okay, no, what he's saying, Craig, okay, Craig's the company, okay, got it, now I caught up, sorry.
Yeah,
Like all
different
around.
issues slightly. So what was this bullet point on here for? 'Cause
It's basically, I think it's to say, for one, we need to quit at a whim calling someone in and having them override everything in the system to raise the heat or lower the heat. And number two is, if we by chance do that on a whim, then someone needs to tell Craig, or someone needs, so they can, because basically, the whole system was running, overridden about a month ago, and it was running continuously for a month until Craig went in and found it and fixed it all.
Yeah, I agree with that. So,
So it needs to be limited, I don't know how you want to do it.
well, what happened was we had an issue with the system had stopped functioning again. And what had happened is the rooftop unit had decided that something in the building was on fire and that it was ingesting smoke. And so it shut down and it stayed shut down. So then we had a climate issue on half the building because we have two units up on top. One side runs the west side of the building and then one side runs the east side of the building. And they can and do fight each other. But that's not what this was out here for. That they were out here because god awful smell and the fact that the offices were getting hot or getting cold or whatever. Person comes out and not knowing why everything was set the way it was set, made a bunch of changes, and you had this just cascade of problems that ended up with half the building set points being wrong, and a fallout of that ended up being the squad room was like 85 degrees. Even though it was set to like 70 or whatever, 85. So the system is so over-engineered that one unexpected change just sends all the dominoes falling.
Yeah, and one of Craig's gripes is when they call, a lot of times someone has messed with a laptop here. And he can't get into the system to look at it.
I think I've
Because
got
he
that
lives in
fixed.
Knoxville, Tennessee. He doesn't live here anymore. So,
The computer that he logs into, and this is my fault, was not set to automatically turn back on if the power flickers. It was actually set to power off by default. I have fixed that, so it should always power back on, and we'll go from there.
so I guess it was just a gripe session.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. He's watching tonight because he didn't text me. So I don't know if he's telling me, shut up, Dad.
Well, he may have a question. So
No,
how do we, so let's say, I'm in my office and it's 30 degrees. I mean, honestly though, our side, we must be on the good unit side because we haven't had a problem in ours, really. But if there's an issue, should we have procedures in place? Like, do I call who? Or do I go in myself and fix it, which I don't recommend that. I don't think that's a good idea. We have everybody with their hands in the thing. So I don't know. I think there needs to be, you know what I mean? So everybody knows this is the procedure if something's screwed up.
We need to get somebody besides Craig trained on this, but trained by Craig,
Yes.
that is local
Yeah.
here.
He calls me all the time and says, hey, you need to go through this training. I need to show you this. I said, I don't have time right now. So, but he can train anybody on how to do it, and he's willing to do it when he's got the time, but what'd he say?
Shut up, Dad.
Yeah.
You shut it bigger. Shut up, Dad.
He hadn't told me to shut up.
There's a difference there.
The foundation of the issue is the fact that the system will never be right, and we need
It
a
seems like
plan to correct that.
from 50,000 feet up, who is our HVAC guy locally? We need to find somebody that we can, they'll have knowledge of it, and they know. When I was, the computer system, I mean, I'm not gonna volunteer because it's been a long time, but when I was at the county building, I adjusted it through the computer. I take it we're on pneumatic here, not air system, so he can adjust them and open dampers and close dampers, and he knows, and there's a sequence to it. I've been out of it a way too, but a local HVAC guys who we should have in case you have issues, and they can look in, they can remote in the exact same way and do it, and they know where the numbers are supposed to be, especially after they read the schematics and do it. That's not my field, but
I
that's
mean,
theirs.
I think Craig would be willing to do that, a phone call, and he's a phone call or a text, easily.
One of the,
It needs to be one person.
one of the issues that we run into is when we call out Godby, or we have called out,
Who's the other?
is it Reed? No,
Brad, who's the other one we called out? The other, Godby and somebody else.
what we
Only
get,
seen Godly here.
yeah, what we get is this.
Two different stuff.
Yes, everybody's point. Craig, at this point, completely understands our system. But we genuinely, and I cannot stress this enough, we have got to start over with this system. it will never be right, ever. This system will never be right, and we need to figure out a plan to do that.
Okay, so then, just a suggestion is can Craig give us, I mean, I'm just reading what's being, if you want to compensate, can Craig give us a quote to take care of the adjustments if needed on a day-to-day basis? If he gets a phone call, can we start looking at somebody to tell us what we need to do to the system to get it back in line so we can start working
What is
towards
it?
that?
You give.
Because
you give-
until we get a quote or an engineer, I mean, go through this and like, this is what you actually need to fix it, this is what it'll do, and they can guarantee it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just sitting here guessing
Craig
the
a
whole time.
monthly stipend that covers that.
If he's got, if there's
Whatever,
something
whatever
he can
figure
get
that
it,
is, it makes sense. And then
until we
you
can find,
fix
and
calls.
we need to find somebody here, going into the other, but go through it, and
The physical
whether the
piece.
attorney or whether we hire someone and then we make a decision, but we need someone to tell us what is the changes that need to be made and what is the cost, so we can start looking at where we need to go get the money for this, whether we budget or we can go find it somewhere else.
Yeah, completely agree. We need to do that. We need
And I
to.
would recommend, there's a company I'd recommend that's
So
like,
can you get us as he's watching, can he furnish us with a quote that we can vote on as a board to take care of that? If he's
I just
interested, if he's
asked
not interested, then we'll look, I mean, it's.
I mean, he's interested, I think. It's just, comfortable. You came up with the price before, I think, did you?
Well, that was at the
Yeah.
beginning.
I really want to, actually, no, I want to stay out of it. Maybe you should stay out.
Then let Craig, if Craig's watching this, let him communicate with Adam and send Adam a quote that Adam can present to the board. And then we can all review, and then we can do it, he can do that to us on email, and we can have a conversation outside. That'd be fine.
and I think also, Adam, we ought to have an independent, another company come in and evaluate our system and provide at least some proposals.
I agree. I mean, I know a good guy for it.
I hate it though, it's 2 years old.
I know a good guy for it.
Are you joking or what?
Yeah.
I know a good guy for it.
A
Or
good
doing
guy,
what?
a
Coming
good
in.
guy,
Yeah, for coming in.
a
and
good guy.
Telling us.
There's lots of good, he's good, good.
Oh, good.
What did I do?
I use no coloring whatsoever. I swear to God. It's all natural.
I'm right with you, Bill.
You said you,
Then
there was
I-
a medicine alarm, maybe you should take it.
I guess this is all of us, and I would put it out there, do we need to reach out then to this good guy and see if we can get a quote of what this is gonna take so that this board can start having that?
Yes.
Because it may take us a while to come up with that money, but we need to know exactly what it is that we need to do and what that cost factor is.
It's two independent conversations. It's the deficiencies in this existing system and
The corrections.
what the corrections would be. So I think that's, yes, so we can do that.
All right, John, I got another question.
Give an evaluation on that too. Oh, never mind, I'm not
I have a
supposed to
question.
comment.
Is this a lawsuit related thing?
I'd have to do some research on that because, I mean, the system works, but it has some problems, doesn't it, or not?
Well, it's major problems and costs.
And I think from that standpoint, we need to act as a board to fix the situation. And then if we as a board agree with the advice of the attorney that what from the previous installation, do what was there, then we turn it over to the attorney
You're going
and
to
have
see.
him go down that line and what do. But we are still faced with the problem
Right.
here that we have to correct and then let him deal with
I
that.
agree. I just
After
wanted to
we
know
fix it.
initially. if
We're gonna be out money up front until he gets done,
Right.
but we need to fix the problem.
Yeah.
But we can't do nothing until we know what that cost is.
Yeah, and I need to know the nature of the problem.
Exactly. This guy, the good guy, will tell us everything that we need to feed him with, plus what we need to look at.
Yep.
So do we need a motion to, or can you get a quote from this, wait a minute, you can get a quote from this guy? I mean,
I think both of these, what we're working on right now, would be under the standard spending limits for evaluation and for recommendations.
And do you have more than one company doing it?
Are you gonna reach out to Craig if he doesn't respond then?
He has already reached out.
Okay, he's already done.
Yeah.
I would, with Indiana, I mean, obviously with HVAC, I'm gonna ask, I hate to ask this question. You think it's gonna go for 25,000? Okay, then yes, we want to get three, I would suggest getting three different individuals to look at it. It's gonna take time, there's no reason to get in a hurry because this is major. And if you get into it, it goes above that, we're gonna want that, and then we're going to, whoever we come up with and we agree on it, then we're gonna have to put out a bid. If it's gonna go above that, then we want it sealed and opened up in here, so that we're not, all across the board.
It's gonna be major.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Okay. Good, we
You're
just,
good to proceed?
okay. Solar update, I knocked that one out of the way. Took a look at the, usage last month. And, for the month of December, let me just make sure I'm right here. And that, for the month of December, we generated roughly 50% of our average monthly use. So that's pretty good for a gray month.
Yeah. It's real good.
What percent, what'd you say?
Roughly 50%. If you average out our monthly kilowatt hour usage over the course of the year, roughly 50%. The nice thing about this graph is that as this system ages, we will see historical data on December 23, 24, as we go forward. And so we can start to see trends for that month, for that year. So I'm not going to pull up the town hall, essentially because both plants are within 1% of capacity of each other and about half a mile apart. So they're generating the same, almost always. Grocery store update?
Nothing new.
We have to do the rebate.
Oh, yes,
That's the one he's been
yes.
thinking about. So again, back in December, Baker Tilly made a proposal to put together our documents and file for a rebate for both projects, the solar rebate for the water and the town. And the cost was going to be $15,000 to up to $25,000 per project. And at that time, I told them that I was kind of like in sticker shock because our entire rebate was going to be like 130, 120, and they were taking 40% of that. And they said, well, our rebate is part of the fee. Part of the rebate. So you get 30% back on our fee. And so I wasn't happy. And I was just talking to my son because he is an energy engineer. So his life is basically right now helping companies do what he did here. And he does it on a big basis. He's got Marriott, he's got Walmart. So he's big time into this energy saving thing. And he says, Dad, we have a company that does that on a national basis. He says, you want to just talk to him? So before Christmas, we had a meeting and we were talking, and that's one of those days that Craig says, Dad, shut up. Because we were talking and I thought he was saying, we'll do both projects for a fixed fee of $15,000. And Craig says, shut up, Dad. He's saying both projects in total. They're going to do both projects as one project because they're so similar, so close together, and charge us a fixed fee of $15,000. So that's the question. Do we want to go with that company, which is, I was just looking it up, or do we want to do Baker Tilly?
And basically, this is down, and both are performing the same service, going after the rebate. The only difference is 15 to 25K per project with Baker Tilly, 15,000 with this company to do both projects.
So it's a minimum of Baker Tilly, 30,000,
Yes.
up to 50.
Yeah.
And 15,000 with the other one.
Yeah, and
So-
I tell you, there was some differences because I threw out some things. And one of them was Baker Tilly says the fee could be part of the rebate. And he says, he says, that's kind of a gray area. And he says, if you guys want to get into a gray area, then, that's just, just think about what you're saving there in the rebate.
Yeah.
He says, I just don't agree with it. However, Baker Tilly also said that they would not submit for the fencing or the landscaping over here. And that company says, oh no, that's perfectly fine for the rebate. So,
Mhm.
No.
I have no.
Did you find out the company?
it's called, the guy's name is Scott Still, I think. So I don't, let me see this company on here.
Are you comfortable making a decision on this, or you want further time?
I mean, what is the timeframe? Are we up against the clock here? That's why, that was the next question I was gonna ask.
Well, no,
The name of the company is Ryan.
yeah, Ryan, right here
yes.
is Ryan. He's a federal income tax, he's director of federal income tax consulting.
Yes, we sort of are against the deadline, but we don't know what the deadline is
I
because
think we need to get him moving.
when the money runs out, the federal money runs out, it's just gone.
Mhm.
And the
So-
portal just opened. Everybody agreed to that. There's a portal that basically what you do is you submit this to directly to the feds. The IRS looks at it. If they agree with it, they send you a check. It's not like a federal
Big
tax
blow
rebate
out.
on your federal
Right.
taxes.
You do know the deadline, it's tax time, April.
Oh, okay. So we gotta get moving.
Of this year?
And Craig just threw out that,
Yep, he just told me.
I'll be back in.
I don't know why we couldn't approve it tonight.
I think we should. I make a
To me,
motion. Should I do that? I probably, I don't know. Craig made the
Yes,
recommendation.
this
I'm
year.
trying to think if there's a conflict. Is there a conflict there, John? It's not Craig's company.
No, I don't think there's a
He's
conflict.
just giving a recommendation.
Yeah.
It'd be no different than somebody else in the audience here.
Okay. So I make a motion that we approve the Ryan Company to do our tax rebate for the solar project.
And we'll get 15,000.
Yeah, 15,000, I would say.
And what I would ask is that you also give the president the authority to sign the contract.
Right. Yeah, I'm not.
You'll add that to your
So-
motion.
Well, I guess I just assumed the president would sign.
Yeah, well, he-
Well, but I mean, do you have a copy of the contract in hand?
I do. Well, I don't have it. Yeah, it's in my phone.
Okay, then let's give him the authority to
Okay.
sign the contract when you
Oh, okay.
print it out, then you sign it and you're all done.
Okay.
Got it. You second. You got that? Tom motion, Steve second.
Hi, Ryan Company, for $15,000 file rebate, right?
Right.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, I'm gonna table the electric vehicle review because it is 9:00. So we'll just talk about that next month.
And I didn't get
Thank you. Anybody have anything? Okay. Make a motion to be adjourned. That we adjourn.
So moved.
A second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Get out of here.
Laura Mercy.
I am sorry.
Adam?
I didn't see that.
Longest meeting ever. They should have the records. Oh, yeah. There was what? There was just way too much. Well,
You saved me from turning into a pumpkin.
Hey, hold
at least you got dinner. I didn't have anybody bring me dinner. Yes.
Oh.
I was forgotten.
No, eat them up.
Ignore anything. Thank you.
Well,
Hey, Brad, you know what the hell this is?
It's the elevator.
$250 for the,
Yes.
for Homeland
Somebody needs to
Security?
find this out for me.
What,
I don't know what's going on with this.
did someone do an inspection?
We had a problem with the elevator. Somebody came out and said, we're going to be fined if we don't get it fixed. They came out, they fixed it.
I fixed that
No, no, this is something else.
No, this
There
was a leak. It was a
leak, there was water in the.
Water and oil
tunnel.
in the bottom of the deal. He showed me a picture of it.
Right.
This is the first time I know that.
That's, so then we get this,
Look at it.
we get this in the mail, I have no idea what this is.
No, we're under a service contract.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if they had talked to, James, since James was commissioner, and it was
building thing, you know what I mean? I didn't
We
know.
have a service contract with the company.
Right.
We
Right,
paid
but
for
I
it.
don't know what this is
Whoa,
from.
whoa, 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 sorry.
It's just a.
Sorry, this is a yearly fee they're charging
Yeah.
you for having an elevator. Operating certificate A, a regulated
Oh.
lifting device
Oh,
may
it's-
not be operated without an operating certificate that covers the
Yeah.
operation of the
Thank
regulated
They
elevator.
do an inspection, they
They
get
have
a
to
certificate.
I'm
inspect, you
surprised
have to
you
have
asked
the
because I
bill,
didn't
this
know.
is the bill just to get your certificate.
Yes.
they have to have that.
For
certificate on
everybody
there
tonight.
When you
It
walk.
didn't have to be tonight, but I do need them filled out just public.
Oh,
Just-
We have a lower.
It's something that's.
Well, yeah.
Ours just goes from seven.
Mayor, you all?
Yeah,
Hey, Chief, you're all?
Oh, yes, thank you.
It's okay.
We have a lowering device.
A lowering device.
That's what it's.
I fixed the problem that Amy come told me because the door was shut all the way. I just suggested someone.
His face. That's what I was like.
So.